nr.1. Hey guys, welcome to my very first DynoMonday, where every Monday hopefully we will have a new script to automate another tedious task. And today, since we are working with prefab elements, we are going to learn how to write this little script here, which will help us automize our tagging. So as soon as I run this, let's hide this. All we have to do is click the assemblies in order, hit escape, and it'll automatically sequence according to the list that we create in Dynamo. So 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's get started from the bottom, or from the top. It's just short, we don't need much more than that. So we're gonna go here, open. I'm gonna go File, make a new script to the workspace. I'm not going to save that. Great. So Dynamo starts up like this. First, what we'll need is a little package.
Package of what?
Shh.
Little package.
First, we're going to go look for a package.
Should I call the guy?
Shh. First, we're going to go look for a package here, up here, and we're going to search for Spring nodes, okay? This is going to give us Spring nodes here. We're going to install it, and that's going to give us this node here, select in order. Select element in order, right? So every time this gets run, we have the option to refresh it. In order to make that work, you right click and you look for a Boolean node. This becomes our on-off switch. So when we want to run the script again, all we have to do is hit this and it'll start over. We can start clicking the elements again. We connect those. Now we need to create our list. So we'll find a couple strings. Strings are just texts. And we're going to copy paste that 3 times. There we go. Then we're going to double click to create a code block. And here is where we build up our sequencing code. So depending on how you want to sequence, in the case earlier, I want to sequence by level. Right? And then we just plus to, this is the space. And that's the whatever kind of text you want to use to separate strings of text, right? So let's say level, and then which level, and then which level it's on, and then the space, and then the sequence. And then the next one is sequence. So that's going to be our sequence number. Alright. Great. Now we have these. We can plug these in here. So we can write, let's say we're doing the technical floor now, right? So we'll just do SAL tech. Whatever your level is called, you can add that in there. You then, the spacer, I want to use a middle dash, and the sequence number, right? And the sequence number is actually not going to be a string at all. It's going to be a list of numbers, which will be, let's say we don't want to start from 0, we want to start to 1. You write 1 dot dot to, let's say, 1,000. So this will create 1,000 elements in our list. So that spacer, right? If we run this, which it's doing now, however, it's not completing the run because we started running in Revit the click phase, right? So I'm gonna hit escape out of that. Now this is gonna run complete. We have our list. SAL Tech 1. You can keep adding things to your code. Let's say we want plus, before we want this, we want to have element type, right? Element type. And then plus again. Right. So maybe we want, there we go. We can copy that. Right. Add this here, and we're going to call this hollow course. Right, so now we have the floor, the spacer, the element type, and that. And you can see how quickly this just creates this list. This is basically, the reason we do this is we're kind of skipping what we might do in Excel, creating a spreadsheet of elements and numbers. We're doing it directly in Dynamo. So, how do we connect? I hit the script again, close that, hit escape, cancel that, back to this. Okay. How do we get this to actually change the parameters in our assemblies? And it doesn't only have to be assemblies, but now because we're clicking on assemblies to update the assembly tags, that's what we're doing. But we can use these for Windows and everything as well. We just basically have to collect, we have our elements by clicking on them in order. Now what we need to do is we need to work with the parameters, right? So we're going to group this, and we're going to Control G, and we're going to title this as create list. Then we're going to group these, and we're going to group those, and we're going to call this select elements. Now we're going to make a new set of nodes that will control our parameters. So first we're going to right click and we're going to search parameter dot parameter by name. And now we're going to pull the elements in here, and then we have to gather the name, which parameter we are working with. So we're going to create again a string, because we want to later on turn this into a Dynamo player. So these will become inputs, so you don't have to go into Dynamo every time, you can edit them directly from Dynamo player. Right, now that we have that, we're going to add a parameter, right? So again, parameter dot set value. Right, so now we're gathering the parameters, and the value will be this list. That's it, guys. We finished it. That's all you need. So now, here you're going to enter the parameter that you're wishing to change. So you can see here, if we enter my assembly tag family, and you edit the label, you'll see that it's reporting two things, the type name and the mark. So in case of assemblies, that's really nice, because what assemblies does is it tells us the type here. So we can see hollow core slab 575. That's the type name. And you can edit that by hand, by renaming it. So that's the one parameter that it's reporting. The next parameter that it's reporting, if I edit the type, is the mark, the type mark. Let's find it here. We're controlling this type, this instance parameter. You can set up any parameter you want in here, but since we're telling the tag to report the mark parameter, we're going to use the mark parameter in this chapter. If you have a shared parameter called erection sequence, what you're going to do is you're going to place that erection sequence name here, and you're going to edit that. So, okay, so now that the script is done, we're going to turn this into a Dynamo player by adding inputs and outputs. So, we're going to start with the switch input. And we're going to start with these. Code blocks can't be input, so if you do need to have, if you have elements in sequence that are over 1,000, you would have to come in here and just add a little extra to that. So, I'm also going to rename these, so when we're looking at our Dynamo player, we can know. So, this one is going to be the enter the level. This one is going to be called rename to spacer. So in the future, if I hand this script down to people, it's self-explanatory, and this one's going to be called element abbreviation. Okay. And this one is going to be called parameter. So which parameter you choose to edit. Now that we've done that, we can save this as our Dynamo auto tag sequence. Right, and for now we'll just add this to, actually we're going to add this to my folder, and we're going to call this one example. Great. So now we save that, right, and we can actually close this. Now we're back in Dynamo, or in Revit, we're going to start our Dynamo player. Okay, so now that our Dynamo player is loaded in, we have our new Dynamo script here, which we can click on, and we can start controlling our sequencing. Great, so every time we flip this switch, this is going to restart, and we can enter in our parameters here. Our sequence number is just the number, and our element abbreviation is here. So let's flip the switch, right? And let's run. Right. So this script is gonna run until we hit escape. So now we can just click an order of our elements that we want everything to be erected in. Now that we've clicked on our elements, we're going to hit escape. And now each of those assemblies have added this parameter. The floor, the hollow core, the element ID, and that number according to the list we created in Dynamo. So that's done. In 15 minutes you have a script. This can be used for any element, and you just control the parameter here. So we can see that the input for the parameter didn't get added. So what we can do is, if there's an issue like that, you just press on this edit button and it'll open up the script for you again. So let's make sure this is an input. Great. And we're going to save that again. Now we can close this and open up the script. Now we can control the parameter, which one we want to edit. So let's say we were using window families, we're sequencing window families. We can, if we're not using a shared parameter, we can, let's say, or let's say you want to fill in fire ratings for walls or stuff like that. You can just click elements, select elements, and fill in the parameters automatically. You don't have to type one each individually. So that was the first DynoMonday. just want to say the whole point of DynoMonday pretty much is just that if you guys, like my fellow classmates, have a repetitive task, before going through it manually, you can think always of a way to do it faster and more efficiently. So I would like you to feel free to reach out to me. Tell me about your repetitive task and I'll find a way to automate it. And then on Monday I will have something for you, and we'll also make a little video on showing you how to make it for yourself. Or it won't just be Dynamo, it'll just be any other kind of efficient workflows. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it's going to help you out in the future. And the reason we make these scripts is because it's not going to be just for this project. It's going to be for many, many projects. And Revit's just a tool that can make other tools. So learning to make your own tools, putting them into your toolbox, and taking them everywhere you go will be hugely beneficial and save you many, many, many hours. So you'll have more time to do other things. I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.